what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stumped back for another Optc video, and in today's video we're over here on the global side of the game, taking on the new Kizuna Clash that has just released as of right now. So we are over here on stream. Shout out to everyone in stream. Thanks so much for stopping by. If you do want to be a part of the streams, hit that little bell notification and hit that big red subscribe button if you guys haven't already. If you guys watching this video, if you don't mind, head down there and smash the like button for me too. But in today's video, we are going to be trialing the teams against the 10-star King event, utilizing the free-to-play teams that I did build, as well as the high tickets team, as well as the high damage team. So I'm going to go farm up some of these tokens now, and I shall be back. Alright, so for team number 1, we are taking on the quick variation of King, and we are utilizing the free-to-play team. And for this team to work, we do need to bring a friend Zoro. So very, very important that we do that. But with Hiyori on the team, we can actually get the super typing for Zoro as well. So this team should work, and should work even past level 30. I don't imagine it will have too many issues. But once we do start the fight, we do get our Cerebrals and our Slashes cooldown. Totally forgot that Cerebrals and Slashes get their cooldown. So Buggy won't actually get his cooldowns. That's a bit of a yikes. But the beautiful thing about this is we can actually stall. So you could easily replace Buggy with another paralysis removal. He's basically just here for paralysis removal. I imagine that there's another striker or slasher that is free to play that does give paralysis removal. I think I've got Orochi on one of my other teams. I reckon Orochi will work. I think he's a... Oh no, he's a cerebral powerhouse. Oh, but Cerebrals get their cooldown, so yeah, that'll work too. So if you have Orochi, you could put Orochi where Buggy is. That should work too. But on stage 2, we come up against Queen. Now, Queen is going to special bind us, but with the amazing captain ability of Zoro, we can actually remove the special bind just by his captain. And then we're just going to try and take out Queen over the 2 turns. Now, the reason I'm going to take out Queen over 2 turns is so that way I can actually just get some Buggy cooldowns. On the second turn, Queen is going to give us a burn for 3 turns, but it really doesn't matter too much. You just don't want to get to that 3rd turn where he actually rolls all your specials back. Once we do get to the final stage, we do come up against King. Now, against King, he gives us normal attacks only, and then he gives us a full board of block orbs, he locks them, and then 5 turns of paralysis. With Komurasaki as our captain, we can actually get around 2 turns of the paralysis, which is really, really nice. We can use Montador here. Montador is going to give us a full board of orbs, as well as removing the attack down. We can give ourselves a attack boost with the Hiyori special, where it can also give us resilience as well, which is really nice. We can then use our Zoro special, as well as the Zoro super typing. Zoro's special is actually going to give Buggy the cooldown as well, which is really, really handy. And then we can actually just use our Hachan special. Now, Hachan can remove 4 turns of paralysis and give cooldowns, provided we are in the Kizuna Kessen. And Komurasaki's basically just here to look pretty, but she's another option to remove attack down later on if you do want to replace the Montador. Montador is super effective against all types, which is really nice. As you can see, we can just easily take out King. Now, when you do take out King, he is going to revive. When he revives, he gives you another 3 turns of paralysis, and he only lets you tap with 3 units. So you do need to remove paralysis somehow, and with this particular team, we are utilizing Buggy. Buggy can just remove that paralysis nice and easy, and then we can just do our 3 taps. Ideally, you probably want to tap with your boosted units like Hiyori, Komurasaki, and then Zoro. But as you can see, Bob's your uncle. Works quite well. You might need to save the color affinity buff from Zoro for the res, but for the meantime, that should work quite well. Alright, so for the second team against the quick variation, we're utilizing the Max Tickets team. Now, this is what the team looks like. Let's dive in. If you guys have Carrot, you want to try and find a spot for Carrot on this team. I don't think she gives you more drops. Very similar to like how Perispero does. I think him and Montador are the only 2 that does. But Carrot is significantly boosted in this Kizuna. So she's going to be able to give you a little bit extra damage. If you guys don't have Sanji Pudding, don't stress. You can replace him with any other color affinity booster. Ideally, you want it to be obviously a Dex unit, but Sanji Pudding is a really good option here because Sanji Pudding is actually boosted in this event too. On stage 2, when we come up against Queen, Queen's going to special bind us, and what we're going to do here is we're just going to switch with our Vivi Rebecca to remove the special bind, and that way we can use their special to give us an orb boost, attack boost, a chain buff, and remove the special bind, which is really, really nice. With all those buffs, because we are running a mono cerebral team, we can take out Queen easy peasy, and move on to the final stage against King. Now against King, He is a quick unit. He gives us a full board of block orbs, which is a little bit annoying because he locks them too. He gives us normal attacks only, and he has full immunity. He's going to give us 3 turns of attack down and 5 turns of paralysis. To get around all these nasty debuffs, we're going to use the special of Montidor to give ourselves a full board of orbs, remove the attack down, and then we can use our Rayleigh special to give us an orb boost and a chain lock. We can then use our Sanji and Pudding to give us a 2.25 times color affinity boost for 2 turns, which is really nice because that way we can carry it over to the revive. And then we can remove the paralysis and get an attack buff with our Perispero. And with that, we can just absolutely decimate poor old King. Now, this team should work fairly well moving forward. It's not going to do, like, heaps and heaps of damage, probably past, like, level 50. But it'll definitely get you fairly high up in Kizuna to give yourself a lot of tickets. On the revive, we are going to use the other Perispero special. That way we can give ourselves an attack boost once again, and we can remove the paralysis that King inflicts, and we can just easily take him out. Bob's your uncle. So there you guys go. That's the max point team. We might have to change it as things get a little bit tougher. Probably have to run something like Sugar as our leader and then replace someone like Rayleigh. But for now, this should work fairly fine. So for the final team against the quick variation, we have the high damage output team. And this team utilizes a Kid and Zoro hybrid team. Now, if you guys don't have Zoro and you have Kid, obviously just use Kid as your captain and bring a friend Zoro. That should work absolutely fine, and vice versa, like the way that I'm doing it here. Now, the thing with this particular fight is... Hey, thanks, MC Buddha. The thing with this particular fight is because King has a revive, you really want to make sure that you don't use a HP cut on the revive. So be very, very careful if you are using Nami and Robin, as Nami and Robin provide a great orb boost, but, big but, they do a HP cut. And if you use a HP cut on the revive, he is going to full heal, and you can only tap with 3 units. So when things start to get a little bit harder, I will most likely be looking at adding Sugar to this team somehow. Sugar is going to be great to give extra damage and get through that tap timing. But for the meantime, this should work absolutely fine. Against Queen, Queen is going to give us Special Blind, but that actually does not matter one bit, as Zoro can actually remove that, and we can just easily decimate Queen easy peasy. Onto the final stage, we come up against King. Now, King is going to give us a full board of block orbs and lock them. He gives us paralysis for 5 turns and 3 turns of attack down. With Nami Robin, we can actually remove 1 turn of the paralysis, which is actually pretty nice. But we can rotate all of our block orbs into matching and remove the attack down with Montidor. We can get a 2.5 times orb boost to our INT and our DEX units, which is really, really nice because this team isn't completely DEX and it has INT units. Then we can use our Big Mom special. Big Mom's going to give us a chain lock and a base stat boost. We've got the special of our boy Kid. Kid can give us a full, well, not a full board of bomb orbs, but he could if we really wanted him to. And then with the super typing of Zoro, we can actually get a color affinity boost for our DEX units. And with that, we're just going to absolutely tear through King's HP before the revive. Now, once we do take out King, he is going to revive, and he comes back with 21% HP, so you can't cheese him and take him out like with Ambush Garp or anyone like that. Well, you can with Ambush Garp, but you have to sort of stall out for the special, and like there's a lot of time special that you have to stall out for. So, on the revive, we are going to use the Gukimaru special. Now, Gukimaru is actually going to give us a full board of super bomb slots because he rotates all orbs into the same. And then with the Zoro special, we can give ourselves an orb boost. And just on that revive, like, King doesn't even stand a chance. So that's the max or the high damage team. It's not the highest damage you probably can get, but it's going to do the trick for a very, very long time. I don't think I'm having too many issues. But like I said, we will find a way to put Sugar in there somehow just to maximize the damage. But I thought using DEX characters would be the best option for now. Alright, so moving on to the next color variation, we're up against the Psy version of King, and now this is the free-to-play team that I built for you guys in my prep video. Now, it only works past level 30 if you have the Friend Captain Law. Now, Friend Captain Law can remove 6 turns, or 10 turns of Despair, and on the level 30 plus stages, you actually get 6 turns of Despair, so you need to remove that somehow. Now, all of our in characters, which this whole team is, besides this Luffy, actually get cooldowns at the start, but because Luffy's Psy also gets cooldowns as well. So Kobe Helmeppo and the Luffy Bowl will start with their special as well, so it works out really, really well. On stage 2, we come up against Jack. Now, Jack has 4 turns of Threshold, and he's an int unit. So we do want to switch with our Boa and our Kobe Helmeppo, so we have the int variations available to us. And then we're going to use the Kobe Helmeppo special here to give us an attack boost, as well as remove the threshold. We can then use our Law special, and that way we can take out Jack easy peasy. With an attack boost and an orb buff, we should be fine moving forward for God knows how long. Because we have Boa on this team too, or Luffy Boa, we actually get the super typing of Law as well, which works really, really nicely. On the final stage against King, he gives us normal attacks only. He puts up resilience and gives us a full board of unfavorable slots, but they're actually matching for us, which is really, really nice. That way we can just then use the super typing of Law to heal up and get more damage against Psy units. We can use the Kid special. Kid can give us cooldowns as well as end of turn damage. Shoutout is going to rotate all of our orbs unless they're matching, so that kind of sucks. But it doesn't matter because he's a 2x attack booster, and then with the Luffy Boa special, we can actually get all of our orbs back. You don't actually need Montador on this particular team. He's just here for more tickets, and you can easily replace him if you do want to do a little bit more damage, I guess. But for now, this team shouldn't have any issues, and it works out quite well. So that was the INT free-to-play team. Alright, so as for the max points, or max ticket team, I should say, against the Psy variation, it looked a little bit something like this. So let's dive in. Utilizing double Perispero is going to work fairly well moving forward. Easily up until like level 30 to level 50. But once it does start to get a little bit harder, I will sort of have to change the team just a little bit. Probably take off Montador when the time comes. And probably replace, like, or try and put Sugar in here somehow if I can make Sugar work, provided Sugar can actually get cooldowns. But for the int variation, it's going to be a little bit tougher because Dex, int, and Psy characters get their cooldowns. So it might be a little bit tricky to get Sugar in here somehow, but I'm sure there'll be a way to make this team just hit a little bit harder. On stage 2, we come up against Jack. Now, Jack has 4 turns of Threshold, and to get around this, we're just going to use the Dofi special. With the support of Bellamy, we can actually remove 4 turns of Threshold, which is really, really nice. Then we can use our Law special to give us an Orb boost on this particular stage, and we should be able to just take out Jack, provided we actually get just like 1 or 2 matching Orbs. As long as we've got like 1 matching Orb, we should do quite a lot of damage, and because Montador and the Perisperos are super effective against all types, the color affinity actually lets them do a lot more damage as well. On the final stage, we come up against King. He gives us 99 turns of normal attacks only, and he has full immunity. He gives us a full board of unfavorable slots, and he has 5 turns of resilience. But that's basically all he does. Once you hit level 30, he's going to have a 6-turn resilience, and when you hit that level 30, he gives you 6 turns of despair as well. So for this particular fight, in the meantime, we're just going to use our Montador special. He can give us a full board of matching orbs. We can use our Dofi special. Dofi's actually going to give us color affinity as he has double special activation. We can use our Perispero special here to remove the resilience, give ourselves an attack buff, and then we have Croc to actually remove despair. And he's also going to give us a chain buff as well, which is really, really nice. Now, you could easily use a Perispero special on the Jack stage as well. You don't need both of them for the final stage. But for the meantime, this is going to work quite well. But as I mentioned, as you get up to around level 50, you're probably going to have to start looking at more damage output. Alright, onto the final team against the Psy variation. This is the team that I put together with very big damage. Again, this is probably not the highest damage team that you could possibly build. I'm sure there is a way to sort of get up amongst those real crazy numbers. But for the meantime, this is going to work. But as mentioned in the max tickets, the problem is you can't really use Sugar for this particular fight. I mean, you can probably find a way to get her cooldowns popping, but you can't really use her as a main lead, as she actually doesn't get cooldowns for this particular fight. But you do have the boy Katakuri. Katakuri is another really good option to get the conditional buff as well. So something that no other character can do. And I might have a look at that as the levels get up higher if I decide to go that high. But against Jack on stage 2, we actually come up against the int variation of Jack, and he has 4 turns of Threshold. With the support of Perispero on Big Mom, we can actually remove 2 turns. Now, we're going to switch with Big Mom first. The reason we're going to switch with Big Mom first is so when we use the special of our boy Mihawk and Law, they don't actually give us the buffs, but they give us the carryover buffs. We're then going to use the special of Kid Kid is going to remove the rest of the threshold, and then we're actually not going to switch with Luffy. The reason we're not going to switch with Luffy is because we want to make sure that we can hit 3 perfects. Once we hit the 3 perfects, we actually get the 2.5 times attack boost with Mihawk on the final stage against King. Now against King, he is a Psy unit who has full immunity and gives us normal attacks only. He has 5 turns of resilience, which will go up to 6 after level 30, and then will give us despair as well after level 30. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use our Big Mom special. Big Mom's going to give us a base stat increase and a chain lock by 3.5. With the carryovers of Law and Mihawk, we can give us a 2.5 and a 2.5 times attack boost and or boost. Wow, I said that really weird, I apologize. And then we get a 2.25 times color affinity boost with both Boa and Luffy. Finally, we can use the super typing of our one, either Law or with our Mihawk. It really doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you have the super type live, you are going to be absolutely fine. And with that, we're just going to say absolutely goodbye to King. We're going to let the end of turn damage of Kid take him out, and Bob's your uncle. So that worked really, really well. Let's move on to the final color now. Alright, so onto the final color variation now. We are taking on the strength version of King. Now, this is the free-to-play quick team that I did have for you guys, utilizing a friend Kaido, a friend super type Kaido and a Orochi. Now, as mentioned in the prep video, this team's actually pretty janky. It does have quite good synergy, but it's not perfect synergy. But for a free-to-play team, it does pretty well. Smoker as a leader works out really, really nicely. And all the subs sort of just all fulfill their role. But I imagine you could probably replace Oars and the Zoro with another character that can both do defense up and damage reduction removal. You might have to dabble in some other colors that aren't quick, though, because I did have a look and there isn't too much in the quick variant that does defense up removal, but it is what it is. On to stage 2, we come up against X-Drake. He's going to bind our bottom row for 6 turns, which will go down to 3 respective to your sockets. So we do want to remove that with our Orochi special. And then ideally on this particular stage, we just want to attack X-Drake and take him out. If you don't take him out in 1 turn, it's not the end of the world, as when he does damage, Kaido's Thunder Bagar should kick in, and that should take him out as well. On to the final stage, we come up against King. Now, King is obviously a strength unit. He is immune to everything, but he doesn't have full immunity, which is really, really nice. It means we can set the defense to 0, provided you are using Onami or someone to remove that immunity to defense. And he puts up 4 turns of damage reduction. After stage 30, you get, You get 4 turns of defense up as well. So that's why Oars is on this particular team. But with Orochi, we can actually give ourselves an attack boost and trigger the super typing for Kaido. We can use the special of Zoro to give us some color affinity. Ideally, you probably want to use the Zoro special first. That way, you can get a better color affinity boost. With Smoker, we get an orb buff to our driven and fighter units and a chain buff. And then with Kaido, we can actually do double damage. When you get past level 30, that's when the Oars special will sort of become more effective. But as you can see for now, this team should work fairly well. Does quite a bit of damage. And should work upwards past level 30. So that was the free-to-play quick team. So for the max ticket team against the strength variation, we are using double Perispero once again. Now I have changed this team a little bit from my prep video. If you guys checked out the description, you would have seen that I realized that there is immunity to defense down, so you can't actually use the Onami support. You can use Onami as a character, but you can't use her support. So I had to replace the Onami support with just anything, and I had to replace Tessero with Kamizo. Now, Kamizo can remove 4 turns of defense up. Kamizo is also boosted, which is really, really nice, and he gives a chain lock. So we don't get a 3.25 chain lock like Tessero, but we do get a 3 times chain lock and the defense up removal in 1 unit. Plus, he is boosted, so he does a little bit more damage, which is really, really nice. On stage 2, we come up against X-Drake. Now, X-Drake's going to bind our bottom row for 3 turns. We can just use one of the Perispero specials here. That way we can remove the bind, we can give ourselves an attack buff, and we should be able to absolutely just decimate X-Drake on this particular stage. If you are using a friend Perispero, you should actually be able to take out that stage literally just with normal attacks, and then use the Perispero special on this stage against King. Now, against King, he's immune to everything, but doesn't have full immunity. He binds our middle row this time, and he puts up 4 turns of damage reduction. After stage 30, he puts up 4 turns of defense up as well, so you do need to be able to remove that, hence me adding Kamizo to this particular team. But we're going to remove the bind with the Perispero special. We can get color affinity to our cerebral units with our Sanji and Pudding special, 2.25 times. We have a 2.25 times orb boost to our cerebral units as well. We can then use the Kamizo special, normally to remove the defense hub, and we can give ourselves a chain lock as well. Now, once things start getting a little bit tricky here, I'll probably take off Montador on this team. Montador doesn't really provide anything for this particular fight besides damage reduction removal, but because Sanji Pudding already do that, I will most likely take off Montador and replace him with something like Kaido, or bring Kaido as my captain and then run what's his name, Perispero as a sub with a friend Perispero, and that should work well. But for the time being, this is going to work. It's going to give us lots of tickets, and let's move on to the high damage team now. And for the final team of the video, we have the high damage output against the strength variation. Now, if you guys don't have Kaido, very similar to the Zoro Kid situation, if you don't have Kaido but you do have Sugar, just use Sugar as your leader and then bring a Kaido friend. That should work absolutely fine. Now, the downside to this team is we can't actually get Kaido super typing. Now, I don't think it's essential, but you could run the Moby Dick to get that. But if you do that, you're going to have to replace Onami. Now, Onami's only going to work the way she works because we have max HP. So using the Shark Superb is a nice replacement for the Moby Dick. And that way we can still get a lot of damage output. On to stage 2, we come up against X-Drake. X-Drake's going to bind our bottom row for 6 turns, which will go down to 3 with respective to your sockets. So if you have Bonnie in the middle slot, Bonnie can actually remove that and give us a carryover effect of an attack boost. We are going to get an attack boost on this particular stage as well, and then we can actually take out X-Drake easy peasy. Once we've taken out X-Drake, we can actually go into the final stage against King. Now, King is immune to everything but doesn't have full immunity, as I've mentioned in the last 2 teams, but he does give us normal attacks only. He does have bind on our middle row, and he puts up 5 turns, which goes down to 4 of damage reduction. After stage 30, that bind becomes 6 turns, or 9 turns respective to your sockets, and then he has defense up as well. So what we're going to do on this particular stage, we can actually use the Okiku special twice. Now, Okiku has double special activation, and with the support of Whitey Bay, we can actually remove all of the bind, even past level 30. We're then going to use our Onami special. Onami's going to remove the immune to defense, set the defense to 0, and give us a conditional boost, which works out really, really nicely. We have Montador special here. Montador is going to remove the damage reduction, and because we've set the defense to 0, we won't have to worry about the defense up on level 30 and above. We get a full border orbs with Kaido, which is great, as well as getting the double damage debuff, and then we can just turn everyone into bears. And once we turn everyone into bears, we can actually activate Sugar's super typing. So once we've done that, we have a 2.25 times orb boost, double damage, 2 times attack, color affinity, you name it, this team's got it. And that is just a dead king. Straight up dead king. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to go down there and belt the like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that big red subscribe button too. But guys, wherever you are in this beautiful world, please remember to enjoy the rest of your day. As always, I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Lights!